Hello YouTube, Downtown Prepper here, and it's a few days before Christmas. Snowing outside, it's nice, and in this year, just like every other year, people are gonna get their lotion sets, candles, sweaters, what have yous. But let's be honest, if you have a prepper in the family, I'll let you in on a little secret. They want gear. I actually got the inspiration to make these little survival bags from going over to my brother's house, consequently going over to my sister's house. I was a little nosy. I got to asking my brother, "Hey man, where's your first aid kit?" I wanted to look at it. He goes, "First aid kit? What the F are you talking about, dude? I don't have a first aid kit." Which is about the answer I expected. Very similar answer my sister gave me when I went over to her house. And I realized that a large part of the family, my family and people that I care about, are not prepared. At least not at the level that I would want them to be. Prepping is not even a thought in their mind at this point. So I decided to put a little, instead of getting them, like I said, lotion sets and sweaters and what have you, this is the gifts that I put together for certain members of my family. Girlfriend didn't share the prepping idea, so she got them other things. Moving on though. This bag that I got this on Amazon. Money was definitely a concern. I know that these things can get very expensive, and the sky's the limit as far as how much you want to spend in all reality. But I picked these set bags up on Amazon, and for the price versus reviews, they were about as best as you can go. I certainly wouldn't bet my life necessarily if I had to completely bug out, but if it was a quick from your car to your home bug out situation, it definitely do you good. There's some good reviews on it. But this is really just meant to open up their eyes, mostly. On the outside of it, we have some zip ties, little makeshift tourniquets. Obviously, again, the outside's the medical kit, part of it at least. We have some sterile pads. Now, I have a prepping on a budget video that shows you how to acquire a substantial amount of basic first aid equipment at a decent price. And I've actually taken it was $25 of medical equipment and you were hooked up. So this entire bag actually was not, for what we're going to get, it wasn't a ton of money. Moving right into it. Little feel-good item, some cough drops, and some sprees. It's a bad situation. You laugh now, but if it's a bad situation, you're gonna wish. I mean, just even that. A little bit of antibiotic gel. This stuff is also flammable, which is why I included some cotton balls as well. And a bandage. Very basic first aid kit. Some antibiotic ointment, triple antibiotic ointment. Aspirin. And castor oil. Now you may be wondering about castor oil. And story time. It's a great show on Netflix called Into the Wild Venezuela. And these three it was like 5 or 6 people, excuse me. It's not a competition to win any money, it's to go from point A to point B across some nasty terrain in Venezuela, mountains and all sorts of crazy stuff. One of the most hardcore dude there was an Army Ranger. I mean, he obviously finished, got to the end, but during the middle of the exercise, or the race, if you call it, he became constipated for several days, like 3 or 4, I think maybe 5 days. Stress, exertion, exhaustion, excuse me, it's gonna take a toll on your body. If you would have had some of this, that wouldn't have been an issue. That wouldn't even been a thought. Obviously, and right on the outside of the pack, near the cotton balls, I've included a lighter. So, let's see. Oh, that's not it, of course. Of course not. That's not a near complete first aid kit. So in there was also hiding some allergy pills, some quick allergenic, like $1 tablets. Also included in there were anti-diuretics, alcohol pads. I've included about several of them. It's about 30 of them in there. Some 2x2 sterile gauze pads to add to those. Some of these antibiotic band-aids with the antibiotic already added to them. And basically antibiotic band-aids in 3 different sizes. Largest being, let's see, these looks like 2.5 by 3, possibly 4, about 2.5 by 4 bandages. So this would take care of very minor scrapes to a cut. Nothing gushing. This does not include a suture kit, which is something that if I was to do again, I might include. On Amazon, you can get a suture needle and it comes with thread as well for about $3.99, which is something everybody should include in their preps. So that took care of the first pouch. Moving on into the outside pouch, top pouch, I've included a little bit of electronics, a little bit of supplies, including flashlight. Now, this is gonna be up to the individual on how they're gonna wanna pack it, but this is more for a wow factor. Obviously, batteries. All of these stuffs I found at dollar stores again, and very basic supplies. It's not gonna last them forever, but again, this would at least be good to have in the car, in the closet. It's something. Some chem lights. Last time the Gun and Knife show came around, I picked up chem lights for $1 a piece. These were a great deal at $1 a piece. And also there's a flashlight that you can hang on your bag. This was $2 at Big Lots. And that took care of the outside bag. So I'm going to try to put some of this stuff back in there. Not clutter up too much the table. And moving on to the large pack. The exciting pack, right? Well, kind of. If you like more medical supplies, also included a hot compress. Pick these up for $1 a piece for minor contusions. Wooden sticks, wooden cotton swabs. Basically Q-tips with wooden ends. These are great fire starters. Awesome fire starters. Duct tape speaks for itself. That would be invaluable. Also, rubber bands. They won't know why I put rubber bands in there until they're actually in a shitty situation. Then you'll realize you need rubber bands. Leather work gloves. $2 a piece at Big Lots. Great deal. Some basic foods. It included 2 pounds of rice, 2 pounds of beans, and that's it for the foods. Hopefully that'll make them realize that they need extra food stored away. Basically, this is basically reminders. Some tea lights, more zip ties. These are about 2 feet long, or about 1.5 feet, I would say. About 50 feet of paracord, 550 cord. This stuff is great. If you don't know about paracord, YouTube paracord 550 cord survival, and I mean this stuff is great. I'm not gonna repeat it, but there's individual strands in there, and it can be invaluable. I've included a nice shower for them. Baby wipes, a way to, keep yourself clean. You're gonna love me for that. This is great if you're on the move. Shower curtain. Essentially a cheap tarp. This one was $1, and it's 3-gauge plastic. But I noticed that they had ones for $4 that were 5-gauge plastic. And so double the thickness, and I would have gotten those, except for, again, I was doing all of this on a budget. So I mean, that was a good deal. It's one thing to look out for. A towel can be used as a tourniquet as well, instead of a bandana. Because I decided to put a towel instead of a bandana because obviously it's more absorbent. A slingshot. Pick these up at thrift stores for a few bucks. They're actually $3.50, $3.95. Great deal. Thrift stores, I mean, these are going for $10, $15 at Walmart. It's a good deal there. A pair of work gloves, only they're made out of cotton. Maybe these would be a good pair of gloves to have once you were hunkered down next to the fire and you weren't stoking it. Keep your hands warm. Make sure you don't slip. Your food can doesn't slip because it has these little grips. Some some alcohol. A little bit of rubbing alcohol. 70%. Here we go. The hydrogen peroxide, which obviously has a million different uses as well. But it's included in the medical kit. And if you go back to our prepping on a budget, you'll see these. Pick these up for a couple bucks. And I can zoom in here. Gives you an idea. Basically a 7-day kit to prevent infection, if you will. Great for, and not to sound paranoid, but if there was a pandemic, biological attack, this would come in handy. Or if it was a bugging situation and your loved one was sick and you were taking care of them, you don't want to go down as well. That could be a death sentence for both of you. It could be horrible. So, that takes care of the main pouch. It's a little inside pouch as well. That's another thing I loved about these bags. They have a ton of different pockets on the outsides, on the insides. Great deal. I've included some more supplies on the inside bag. Some more rope, only this is a really thin gauge, some twine basically, but it's not yarn. It's it's a little bit stronger than that. I put these in Ziploc bags. The box cutters, again, there's few things sharper than the box cutter. I have knives on the way through Amazon. They'll get here before Christmas, but I have not included them. If you Amazon military knives or military paracord knives, there's some for $5. They have a fire striker as well, which is why I haven't included chlorine tablets or iodine tablets, because again, they were expensive, and I wanted to put knives and a way to purify water. So the striker, you can boil water. They'll need to stop and boil water, but they'll have to just do it, or they can buy it themselves. More batteries. Some super glue, and this can also be included in the first aid. Actually, I'll probably put a couple in the first aid kit to, if you can't sew yourself up, better than nothing, man. So that takes care of that little pack, and basically I doubled it up. So there you have it, folks. I priced it out. In total, it was about $60 worth of equipment, supplies, and really, I included a couple different things in a couple other bags. that will definitely bump up the price. But for the benefit of the video, I wanted to show you what a quick, gift if you were on a budget. For a loved one, if you were a prepper and you wanted to get them prepared or open up their eyes, or if you need somebody who's already a prepper. I mean, I think this was an awesome gift. I mean, I would be really glad to get this gift. I mean, most of these things were $1 a piece. Headlamp, this little setup was about $5. The bag, which is I think a great score. It's built like a really heavy duty hiking bag. It has the chest straps, has the waist straps, but I don't know if I would put a ton of weight in it, to be honest. I think this is definitely a level 1, level 2 survival bag at best. I would not load this up at 50 pounds and trust it. I have a nice military bag and these straps are way thinner, but pockets on each side, top and bottom. A ton of storage. I mean, it'd be great, if you wanted to load it up with this stuff and clothing, some blankets, a small tent. It has these straps on the side as well. I mean, for $28, I don't know if you can beat that. For a day bag or a level 1 survival bag. Medical gear, we have about $10 into the medical gear. For basic stuff that most people do not even have. I mean, a Band-Aid, most people just have a Band-Aid and hydrogen peroxide. Or a Band-Aids and Neosporin. Really, again, put some sutures in there too. That'd be a great idea. Like I said, the knives are on the way as well. But just an idea. There you go. So hopefully this inspires some people, gives some people some ideas. And I appreciate you guys watching. If you click like. If you want to see more videos, please feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching again. It's been Downtown Prepper. Bye-bye.